Good evening, everyone. What's up, fellas? Welcome to Tuesday. Hopefully, everybody's having a great Tuesday out there in the slot car world. So, what's up, guys? Welcome to Tuesday at Two Lines. I'm Marty. I don't know what's going on in the chat. I hadn't had a chance to check in on it. Okay, what is going on? It won't let me expand that window. Okay, so I can't see very much of the chat. George is in the house. Welcome, George. I'm missing all kinds of things. I'm missing my logo. It's almost like the software crashed. Interesting. I'm not able to pull up the comments. So we may not have comments tonight, guys. That's kind of odd. I don't know what's going on. Well, we're just going to have to roll with it. Hopefully everybody's doing well. A couple things to talk about, to break down tonight. One of the things, I just want to give a big shout out to all the guys at Grizzly, Team Grizzly, at the Michigan 24. They came in in second place, right behind. Big congratulations to the guys from Cloverleaf for winning this year. But it was really cool to see the guys from Team Grizzly, Grizzly Racing, Greg and Butch and Josh and Andy, Rob. There's one more. Steve, yeah. So, guys, congratulations. Hopefully, everybody's doing well and recovering, catching up on the sleep that they lost. Yeah. Thanks, Daryl. I appreciate that. Yeah, it will not let me. I'm going to kill that and try this again. Windows. Let's see. Came live. Interview chat, comments and reactions. Yeah, there's something going on with Ecamm Live. Now I can't even bring up the, I can't see any of your comments. This is frustrating. Window. Sorry, guys. A little bit of technical difficulty here. There we go. I got the comments back. Let's see if it'll let me superimpose a comment. It will not. All right. There will be no comments on the screen tonight. I apologize, guys. But yeah, shout out to the guys. What a great race. I was supposed to go up on Friday and had some problems at work. My coworker, he and his wife, they had a baby, and so I had to cover on Friday, and that kept me from driving up to Michigan to join the guys for practice. And I was a little nervous to go during the racing and not be part of the racing. I didn't want to get in the way, and but I ended up sick and a little fighting a migraine, and I didn't make it up Saturday. So I know I disappointed the guys. They wanted me to be there to take some footage and create some content and maybe do some live streaming of the event. So maybe next race we'll get up there and do something like that. But it just didn't work out. I ended up working on Saturday, and my day fell apart. But on Sunday, I sent a text to Josh thinking that the race was over. And I guess it's a 24-hour race, but there's 6 teams, but it's a 5-lane track. And so it takes actually like 30 hours to run the 24-hour race. And so they actually didn't finish up until later in the afternoon. So at 10 a.m., I was like, okay, who won? What place did you guys finish? And they said that they just moved into second place, and they still had, 3.5 hours left or something like that. 5.5 hours left. So it was probably pretty chaotic, but cool nonetheless. Shout out to George, Dave Patterson, John Tucci, Chris. DNA is in the house. Greg, Bud Slots. Congratulations, Greg. Great job. Maybe next week we'll bring Greg on and he can kind of break down the car, talk about the car. I don't want to steal any of his thunder, but I did have a long conversation with he and Josh on the way home when they were driving back from Michigan, just breaking down the whole race and how the car performed. And so, guys, I think what we found and what they found, they discovered, is that the brushless motor was very, very good in the endurance race. And when they got to the last heat, the car performed its best. So where other teams were falling off maybe a little bit and trying to just get the cars across the finish line, the brushless 963 really shined. And Greg actually got a 400 lap heat, which in the very last heat of the race, which is pretty impressive. Not that it hasn't been done before, but nobody had done that in that event. And so the fastest heat was the very last heat for that car. So good stuff. B2 Slots, welcome. Dogtown Slots, welcome. Midwest RC, Scaled RC, and Slot Cars. Harry, is that you? Did you change your name on me? Les Lane, welcome. Jeff G. Daryl Rogers, welcome, Daryl. How's it going, guys? Grandson of a man. Good to see you guys. Thanks for being in the chat. Does it get any better? Tuesday night, slot car, and milk and animal cookies. Hey, no. I'm not sure that it does get any better than that. Hey, Eric Tucker. Good to have you guys. Thanks for joining. Wild Man, good to have you. Hey, Steve Holzman. Steve, you might ask your question if anybody here is familiar with the NSR chassis flattener. Steve and I were talking earlier today and wondering, like, what kind of temperatures do you run for other chassis, like Slotted or Thunder Slot or Scale Auto. So if anybody has any ideas when it comes to temperatures, that would be great to throw those out when it comes to flattening the chassis using the NSR device. So, Steve, I don't know. We'll see if we can get some feedback on that. The problem is it's such a new device. I don't know how many people have it. So you might be running into that. So, let's see. John Albright. John Albright is in the house. Why can I not superimpose? Oh, that makes me so mad. I just cannot get overlays to work. Show in scene. Roast coffee. Yeah, something's going on. Well, let's just hope that we can survive the live stream. Mad P 3D is in. Marty, was I late? Daryl, I don't think I was late, was I? A few seconds, maybe. Let's see here. What else do we have? If I miss anybody, I apologize. But sounds like the race went off without a hitch. congratulations to Mike and Cloverleaf for putting on a great event, and congratulations to Kurt and those guys. They've got a fast team, and they basically defended their home track, so that was cool. So good to see. Glad you guys had a great race. So what's new in the slot car world this week? What do we have to talk about? We didn't really touch on this last week, but they did. Well, I guess it wasn't out quite yet. But Thunder Slot has put the pre-order out there for the Ferraris. So I don't, how many of you in the chat put it in there if you've pre-ordered the Ferrari? New comments. I don't. This is frustrating me. Looks like Slot R's got his internet working again, so he's in. Hey, Dave. Welcome. Kim Davis has a question about installing slot invasion guides for Skeletric slot cars. Multiple videos show how to install the guide and set the height, but none show how to mount the braids. The slot invasion kit for Skeletric comes with everything that you need. But you're saying installing the braids? I think I have a video of when I installed the slot invasion guide in this. I'll have to check, but I think I show how to install the braids. So you might check that video out. I know there's some videos out there for that, but you should be able to use the eyelets, and I guess I could tear that apart and see how I did it, but it should be pretty easy. I think you just put the eyelets that Skeletric uses right down in the top of the slots. But again, let's tear it apart and see. I do like the slot invasion guide on the Scaly cars. I don't have a lot of Scaly cars. I have this bus that my daughter got me, and it's my favorite Skeletrics that I have. And that was the first upgrade that I did. All right. Yeah. So it's going to be hard to see because it's kind of deep down in there. See if it'll focus. Focus. It's not going to focus. There we go. You should be able to put the wires in just like any other car. The lead wires have the little eyelets, and you just slide the wire down through the hole and hold the braid. So then you could look at any other video that shows installing braids. Maybe that's a video one of us should put out there, just a simple installing braids. But yeah, not too complicated. Hopefully that helps, Kim. I will put that back together later. So that was Kim's question about the slot invasion guide. You'll be happy with that slot invasion guide in your Skeletrics. It really is a good improvement. Hey, Marty, finally remembered to log in. Track is half built and posted on YouTube. Many thanks to you and all the others who've been watching on YouTube. Yeah, Dogtown, no problem, man. Hope you enjoy the build. It's always fun. I always enjoy. It's one of my favorite things to do is to create a new layout with my Carrera track. And I've been drawing over and over again when I eventually build a wood track. So we'll figure that out someday. We'll have a wood track in here. Probably before I get to a wood track, though, I would like to test out Polycar 4-lane. So maybe one day I'll pick up one of those sets. So do we have any other questions out there? Now we can say all those things about Marty and he will never know. That's right. Shotgun Dave. Hey guys, my fingers aren't fast enough to address everyone. There you go. Hagsland Farms. Bummer there was no live stream for the 24. Yeah, I would agree. That was they basically said that the internet service was not very good at the shop. So that was the issue, is that it just didn't have good enough internet. And that's, some of us are fortunate and have fiber at their house, like me. So I won't complain too much. But yeah, it would have been nice to be able to watch. I mean, I think that's the thing that Marco has done when it comes to the live stream of the Electric Dreams. Has kind of knocked it out of the park with the live stream production. Although I will say that having the cameras rotate automatically made all of us miss the amazing ending of the one race with Todd Yearley and Ian Douglas, where Ian passed him on the very last lap. It switched cameras and you didn't really get to see the finish. Which was kind of a shame. So let me see if I missed anything else. My brother is in the house. Chris Fredder's in the house. Again, guys, I don't have the ability to superimpose the comments, and I'm really frustrated by that. So I wonder if there was an update today, and I just haven't downloaded the update. Show in current scene. Oh, man, I got nothing. It should be in the overlays. I should just be able to click on the comment. But as soon as I hover over, add to broadcast. Oh, remove from broadcast. Hey, Don Young. Okay. Well, it's the buttons that are not working, which make it easy. Okay. So let me catch up again. So shout out to Greg. Well done with the race, man. We're proud of you. I think the one thing that you did prove, I'm kind of bouncing all over the place. I apologize, guys. This has got me distracted. You did prove that for an endurance race, the brushless is a great pick for a motor. That it has the stamina, the endurance, and that you proved that the 963 is a great endurance car from Scale Auto. That the car is in great shape after the race. So congrats. Yeah, I agree, Steve. Congrats to the 24 team. So exciting to see that you had some successes. You didn't win the race. I think that Greg, you and I have talked about that a lot. That would have just been icing on the cake. So maybe next week, Greg, Josh, some of the guys can jump on and we can talk to them about it. I don't know how many of you are into endurance races. I've only participated in the 1 6-hour and then a night race that I really struggled with. But I think that it's something that I can get into the longer I've done this. So who knows? We'll see what happens. Okay. Who else do we have? John Tucci, welcome. Curvy Road is here. Cyberg. Hey, Dusty. Yeah. That's right. DK. Yeah, don't hold back, DK Moon. I've got broad shoulders. I can handle it. That's funny. Eat your greens and behave. Let's see. Who else? What else we've got? I'm going to bring George on here in a little bit to give us an update on his wood track. It's been fun to watch the progress of that. So that'll be fun. We'll do that here in a little bit since George is in the house. So yeah, George says I have an old video that shows that on the older one. So he's talking about the Scalextric guide or the Scalextric car using a slot invasion guide. Perfect, George. If let's see, George, you can probably post a link to that. Although I'm not noticing nobody in my thread is labeled a moderator. So I wonder what happened. Something's going on. What else do we got? So Slaughter says, once you start seeing smoke, you can be sure that the chassis is as flat as it's going to get. Yeah, Greg or Scott, Steve, that I think that it would be great to create a guide for people out there. I don't know, maybe the slot car companies could help out with that. It's a shame that we have to straighten chassis, but I get it. We understand. But it would be nice to know what their recommended temperature would be to flatten them. So, and that's all going to be based on what type of plastics they use, I think. But I'm guessing that there's probably a range that's pretty safe. Steve, you pre-ordered your Ferrari. So here's a tip from John Albright for Kim. Cut fresh braid and always load the braid from the top and then fold it back. Yeah, I always go in from the top, push it through, fold it back. And then Steve Halsman gave me some pointers that came from Kurt. Shout out to Kurt, Team Cloverleaf, that he shared with him that really does a nice job setting up the braids especially for Carrera track, I feel like. B2 Slots, question, what track management system are you currently using for analog racing, especially round ROM management? B2 Slots. So, I don't know if Patrick's on. I'm testing Fast Laps. I've been beta testing it, working on my own hardware, and I've had problems with the timing. And I don't think it's Fast Laps' problem. It's a track issue. I've got some radio frequency bouncing around this room that just wreaks havoc with the Arduino. Now, I did change sensors, and I was able to get Race Coordinator to work, actually really reliably. But it works pretty well. But it took a lot of tweaking and a lot of changing of settings on the sensors. So, but that's the management. The two pieces of software I'm using for analog. I can use Fast Laps for digital. It does a great job. And then I also still have my subscription to, what is it called? Smart Race for digital. But for analog, that's what I'm using right now. And both of those do a great job of managing a race. And managing practice is really good as well. So B2 Slots, that's what I'm using. I don't have TrackMate, so that comes free. But I don't have the TrackMate hardware. The other program I really like, but I've not really played with, I've just seen other people use it, is LapMaster. That's what I've seen. Butch uses that at his track that we race at. I know that's what Electric Dreams uses because they broadcast it. So it's got some nice features. I really love the fast lap feature, so that you see in each lane what the fastest lap of the entire race is, and so each lap or each lane basically has a lap record during the race, and it's kind of cool to see as cars get faster and you go through heats, who's got the fast lap on each lane. So it's a vanity stat for sure, but it is really cool. So those are the things that I know that are out there. I know there are some other pieces of software, but the ones that I have the most experience with on the analog side is Fast Laps and Race Coordinator. So, and I'm really happy. Shout out to Rob, sent me his screens that he created for Race Coordinator. They're fantastic. Much better than not that the stock race screens are bad. It's just I really like the race screens that Rob created because it simplifies the whole thing and it puts buttons on the screen for pause and start and restart, abort, I think. And then it gives you like the next heat lineup up in the right-hand corner, all in one window instead of having multiple windows. Yeah, Race Coordinator is kind of a multiple window situation, and it simplifies it into one. And so it's really, really good. That was a long answer, but that's DK Moon. You seldom pre-order. I wait until it comes out so I can order 5 cars with it. Daryl says fly chassis he has to cycle 2 or 3 times. So Daryl, I think Steve has the new NSR chassis that's got the temperature control. So I'd be curious, since the first version that you have is kind of automated, it'd be interesting to see what temperature that gets up to, like to put a thermometer on it to get an idea at how that cycles. When is the new NSR flattener coming out? I think that I thought it was already out, Dusty, but I'm not sure. Dave Patterson ordered the new livery of the Ferrari. Both of the liveries. Yeah, good idea. They're going to be super popular. Hey, Gary. Welcome. Let's see. Yes, Dave from Slaughter has a great channel. If you don't subscribe to him, go out there and subscribe to him. He just is very creative. It's great video content. Very resourceful. He's kind of a DIY guy like me, so I have an appreciation for some of the projects that he jumps into. So good stuff. 5 p.m. dead nuts. My hammer is the new NSR flattener. B2 slots, pre-ordered yours, but only saw one version available. There are 2 liveries. They're pretty much the same livery. Okay, for some reason now I'm out of focus. There we go. They're just a different number, different drivers, but they're very, very close to the same. DNA at DK, the issues with that these days is often they build numbers based on pre-order numbers. Yeah, they're starting to do that. Take note of the pre-order, which I'm not sure is the right thing to do, to be honest. Because I often don't pre-order a car because sometimes I want to see it in person. So that I roll into Cincy Slots and Bruce has got it on the table and I'm like, oh, I've got to have that car. So, yeah, I'm not sure that that's the best solution for those companies, but I know that that's what Revo Slot's been doing. I mean, they made the judgment call to do a second run of the Datsuns because of pre-orders, right? Hey, that's why we're here. Dogtown, that's why we're here. Curvy, Kim Davis, you need to put wire eyelets on the end of the wire and press them into the guide. All right. Air tracking was not on. I used it yesterday for the first time on a Racer Sideways G5 chassis. Nice. Yeah, Dusty, I believe he has the adjustable one. Slot art. Yes, this bus does need slamming. And it will happen eventually. It will get lowered. When I don't have, I've got like 30 projects right now in front of me. That's just, it's on the list. Dogtown, is Dogtown your channel name? Let the guys know what your channel name is so they can go and follow you. Let's see here. Yeah, Dusty, I probably should let you know I was sharing pictures of your old Bug that you used to own with the rack on it and all the crazy stuff that you used to put on the rack. Hey, Richie, welcome, man. Yeah, oh no, Steven is already working on next season's cars. Yeah, I mean, I was looking at my lineup from last week, and there were 16 cars in that lineup, and I was like, how in the world, one, did I get that many cars? We all know how that happens, but the second thing I thought was like, that's a great lineup of cars. It's just a lot of great models in there, and there's a lot of great slot cars being made right now. We are in a really good time in the in the slot car hobby because there's just so many choices and so many really, really good cars being built right now. So yeah, it's a good time to be in the hobby. Yes, he has the adjustable one. Good. Hey, Daniel Thomas. Steve also has Daryl's chassis flattener. Mike's house internet was not up to the task. It was hard stream to keep on there too. Yeah, that I would have to think about how we cover that, Greg, that track. It would definitely help to have a few camera angles. More so than many think with regard to performance and car handling. Steve Sweeney, Roast Coffee. Hey, Steve. Thanks, man. Yeah, you need a flat chassis for a solid foundation to build a car on. I've noticed that I've got one car, one of my NSCAR cars, that the chassis is not flat, and it has an impact on its performance. Like the car is good, but it could be great, I think, and a lot of it has to do with there's a little bit of twist, and so when you compensate for that twist in the chassis, then your front end setup is not perfect like it needs to be. It just impacts a lot of things. It impacts your ability to get traction in the rear. All of those things as weight shifts. Yeah. Hey, Gina. Welcome. Good to have you. DNA just pre-ordered the Thunder slots. Nice. Daryl, my cars are as warped as I am, so all's good. That's right. DK Moon, you reduced your track and thinking about running an HO. Yeah, you can't deny the detail of a 132nd car for sure. Slot R, Daryl Rogers, as long as the warp favors the side that has the most turns, you're good. All right, thanks, Harry. I appreciate that for bailing me out. I again, when I figure out people's real name versus their channel names, I like to use their real name when I can remember. But I'll be honest with you, this community is getting so big, it's that's getting harder and harder. Gary Dunmore, hey Marty, how is the brushless motor coming? The brushless, where's my brushless car? Oh, it's out on the track. I've been running laps with it. I've got it in my Scale Auto 963 Porsche, and it's really good in that car. I'm running lap times that are exactly the same as the stock motor. I've changed the gearing a little bit. I think if I went back to the stock gearing, it would be a little faster. I know it would be a little faster. So I'm getting ready to do that. That's one of my next tests. So yeah, I'm super impressed with it. It does make you have to change your controller settings. I run a 522 ohm network in my DeFalco, and I probably should go back the other direction towards the 292, whatever the original stock network is, because it does it does change the controller a lot. But once you get that sorted, it drives really, really easy. It's easy speed, very smooth. Yeah, I like it. It's actually a cool concept. Again, with the way my track is built, it's not a super big advantage on my track, but I really think that on a wood track, on a larger wood track, the advantage really starts showing up. Big sweeping turns. I really think that would become an advantage. So, but more testing. Yeah, thanks for asking, Gary. It's a fun test for sure. Let's see. DNA slot cars, not the first Thunder slots for you, are they? John, no, these are not DNA's first Thunder slots, but he hasn't really played with his Thunder slots very much, I don't think. Tested them. He's so into the BRMs and the Revo slots. He needs to put those down for a minute and get the Thunder slots out. Let's see what else we have. What am I missing? Any other questions? Let's see. Timothy, I just won an auction, a slot at Porsche 956 Mario Andretti Kenwood, number 21. Car blue. It's sweet. Very nice. The 956. The Kenwood. Is that a Group C car? 956. That's cool. Yeah, I'm a fan. Like the 956s, the 962s. Those are all good. Daryl, some of us get lucky every once in a while. Steve decides to not show up to a race. We all know that that's the reason why Dusty and I got our wins. Hey, Slot Journal. Welcome. Good to have you. Slot Car League of Champions. Let's see. Yeah, the channel is Dogtown Slots. Yeah, go out there and check it out. If you want to heat plastic to glass transition temperature for the type of plastic, Google it. So yeah, Mad P says you want to heat plastic to the glass transition temperature for the type of plastic. So the key would be is, how do you know what type of plastic a fly chassis is versus a Thunder slot chassis? I mean, I'm sure somebody knows knows how to tell the difference. But Revo slots are flat from the metal factory. I have had to straighten one of my Revo slot. The front clip was just a little out of whack, and it was easy. I just took everything off, laid it flat on this, and just kind of tweaked it until it laid perfectly flat on my setup board. It wasn't difficult. Yeah, as you'll say, Daryl and I have talked about that. Alfie, can I see a car on track? Yeah, Alfie, I can run a car on the track. I have lots of videos that have cars racing on the track. So if you look at any of my tuning videos, I actually do a follow the cars around the track from the driver's station, which is a good view. It's not a great view from here. That's why I don't usually run cars on live stream nights, because it's just not the best view of the track. But yeah, we can run some laps. I do have it turned on. Dogtown asks, is Smart Race best for digital? I think it's the best that's publicly out there right now. When Patrick releases Fast Laps out into the wild, it will give Smart Race a run for its money for anybody who has a Windows machine. But for iOS, yeah, there's really nothing out there better for digital. I really like Smart Race. The one thing is Smart Race is really built for digital. So if you're trying, like we've tried to make it work for analog racing, and you can do analog timing, but it's not, it won't do a round robin style of race. It just doesn't have that capability. I've talked to Mark about it, but I actually haven't had a conversation with him for a long time. I hope he's doing well. Let's see, Clearwater. I can't get my Smart Race to connect to work on my phone to my iPad. Mark and I have messed with it for a week. No luck. Oh, I wonder what's going on there. Yeah, I've never had any problems with that, Greg. Let's see here. What else do we have? Anything? Definitely check with Rogers. A 2-pound hammer and an anvil will fix it. That's right. Hey, Michael Squire, welcome. Midwest RC, can I send them to you? Midwest RC, are you asking me? I'm going back to what we've talked about because I'm way behind in the chat. You're wanting those race screens for Race Coordinator. Send me a message on Facebook, and I'll send them to you. The one thing is they are specific for that. You can change them, but I have one. Mine are specific for 4-lane track, and I think I have one for 3-lane. But you can edit the XAML file and make it for 2-lane. So if that's what you've got. But yes, send me a message so I don't forget, and I'll send it to you. But they're great. I have a video that I posted out there that you can actually see them in action. So what else do we got? If it's only a small warp, a belt sander would do it. When I'm really, it's become sprung. If we're talking about the Revo slot chassis, you just need to take the spring out of it. It's not difficult. And die grinder is quicker. Hot water is probably best. Yes, BRM is going to do the C5 Corvette. That will be a popular BRM car. Yes, Gary, Sasha did a nice job running laps with all those cars. She keeps it in the slot. She does a good job. With the amount of coffee that Slot R drinks. Yep. You're in good company. John Mark, I know that you've pre-ordered your Ferrari. That's good. But the sparks keep the cup warm. Dave Patterson, yep. The new NSR flattener is on their website. And DNA, your gimbal battery. Yeah, but it's still great footage. Well done. And there's the link. Okay, so the moderators are working. Thanks. I appreciate that, George. Steve, peace, love, VW bus. Yeah, man, it really is high. Dusty hauled coyotes in bourbon. He actually had a deer head on top of it. He's got the Facebook proof out there. Hey, Daniel, welcome. Never late to the party. It's always ongoing. What else do we have? I'm trying to catch up with the chat. I'm always so far behind on the chat. Let's see here. Mad P, probably not, but I would imagine pushing the 510 around the track would give you a great visual and bring back those memories. There you go. Do motor pods need to be flattened as well? Tom Ross. I would say that it's a smaller piece of plastic. It's probably less of a chance. They're a little more substantial, less of a chance of it not being flat, but I guess it's a possibility. You could, I guess, keep it in the chassis to flatten it, maybe. I don't know. I've never flattened a chassis. I don't have the equipment to do that, so it would be a learning experience. Dusty, that's that's funny. DanCurry.com. Oh yeah, man, no problem. I love the conversation that happens in comments. Happy to answer. Glad I was able to help. Hey Simon, welcome. Harry is always up late. Anytime he stays up for this live stream, 3:38 a.m. Harry, I'm so sorry, man. What's up, Chris? Mad P, the juice is worth the squeeze. I did a Thunderslot short, especially for you recently, Marty. I know, DNA. I think I commented on it. I was proud of you. The Thunderslots are some of my favorite cars. I'm excited about the Ferrari. I think it'll be a great car. I really think that it should perform right there with the M6As and M6Bs. That top performer is the Elva. I mean, people talk about it is their fastest car, and I don't know what makes it that way. I really feel like I was able to get my M6A as quick as my Elva, but my Elva has become the test car. I've done so much with that. I have learned so much about tuning because of that car. I've tore it apart and put it back together. I've just done a ton of things to it, and Daryl is the original tuner, and it taught me a lot. So, but that's one thing I will always say is don't be afraid. I was messing with one of my Group C cars that was really, really good, and I thought, you know what? People talk about this makes them a little quicker, so I'm going to try it, and it didn't work. And so then I went back to how I had it set up before, and now it's not as fast. And I'll figure out what I did. Something didn't get back the way it's supposed to be, but it's okay. Trauma RC. Hey, I'm just getting into slot cars. So much fun. I would love to overpower one of my cars for fun. What's the best way to tune that in? Trauma, I'm not sure I understand. When you say overpower, you just want to put a big motor in one. Be careful depending on what kind of track system you have in your power supply. You might have problems running some of the larger, faster motors. But if you're wanting to, I don't know what kind of cars you have, but if you're like running a Carrera car, Piranha makes a kind of a hop-up motor. It's like a 21,000 K motor for Carrera, which makes Carrera cars fantastic. I mean, it really is a great motor for them. Sometimes the best performing cars don't have the fastest motors, but you could always put like a 22.5 ball bearing motor in, or a 25K magnetic effect motor in, and have a lot of fun with those. And that would be overpowered especially for a Carrera car or a Scalextric's car. But for any car, I mean, in this car, I've got the 22.5 ball bearing motor, and it's one of my fastest no magnet cars. So, but welcome to the hobby. I'm glad you're enjoying it. It is a lot of fun. Let's see. Curvy Clearwater, what type of chip and where to purchase? TK asked that. So hopefully they took care of you, TK. I'm not sure exactly what kind of chip you're talking about. If you just want to toss a car out there and pound quick, smooth, quiet, and consistent laps, it's hard to beat anything Thunderslot once you nail the tune. Yeah, and I don't think they're a difficult tune, John. They really tune up easy for me. I've only got a handful of them, but they really are a great car. Let's see, Daniel Thomas. It's the best to start with for Smart Race app, and it's a good value for the money. Yep, I agree. LEB sells Carrera chips and others that also work. Yeah, it depends on what type of car. You can try to put a Carrera chip in other brands. It's not the easiest thing to do, but the FT Slot Technic, that is your choice for just about every other brand of car. So, Dick's Slot Car, what's up, Danny? Marty, I liked your video you did tuning the fly car. Thanks. That's the M1. I've actually done a few other things to it since that video. Let me see there, Danny. I've been working on the tires, truing the fronts. The one thing that I'm going to change the braid out. I don't love the fly braid. Not that this braid is awful. I don't love it. And the other thing is the way the body, it's hard to get float out of this. And I think that I'm going to remove the rear screws because there's a lip that the chassis fits in the body. And so regardless if those screws were in the rear or not, that body would stay where it's at in the chassis. So I think it'll add some float. So I've got some other things to do, but that was the fly tune video really came from a conversation I was having with one of my subscribers who was saying, like, for a fly car, why invest the time in tuning it? Just keep the magnet in it and run it as is. And that's fine. You can do that. But what I wanted to show was like 15 or 20 minutes, 25 minutes of work. I fixed the slop. I mean, the front end was a mess on this thing. I mean, it moved a half an inch up and down. I mean, it would move so much that it would rub up inside the wheel well. And so I spent 20 minutes fixing the front axle, doing some basic tuning, and I got a second off of its top time. And so it was worth 20 minutes to make it go from a mediocre car to that car's a lot of fun to drive now. And so, like, that was what I was trying to get at with that tuning video, is sometimes it doesn't take a whole lot of effort to tune a car to really make it enjoyable. And I think that's what the goal is, right? Is we want to be able to grab any car we have on the shelf and throw it on the track and enjoy it. And so I think that was the key. So Danny, thanks. I'm glad you liked that. Hope it helped. Slot car dude Nico followed my video up talking about like the details in a tune, not necessarily specific to fly cars, but like what's the next step. So the first 30 minutes was this. So now how do you get even more speed out of it? How do you go into the little details to balance the axle and polish the axles? And he talked about some of those things. So he's got a great follow-up video that he released the same day I released the fly tuning video that's really nice. Plastics, Mad P 3D. Plastics may have a recycle symbol indicating the type. 100C is an average glass transition temp for most plastics. So, Steve, there you go. The average temperature, 100 Celsius. Mad P, thanks. That's actually great information to know. What else do we have? Question: B2 slots. Sorry, I'm getting there. Currently use 6 Carrera wireless controllers. I like to use 2 TrueSpeed wired controllers along with 4 Carrera wireless controllers. Are there any extra considerations to accomplish this? Well, you already have the piece that you need, which is the extension to get you the 6 channels. So basically, you would just need to. Oh wait, do you? Do you have the extension? You might not need the extension because you're running the wireless dongle in port 1. You should be able to put the 2 wired in 3 and 4. And then your wireless would be in 1 and 2, 5 and 6. So if I'm remembering how that works, B2. Yes, I'm actually running 1, 2, 3 wireless and 3 wired digitally here. So yeah, you can do any combination, but that is you wouldn't need the extension because your wireless dongle will take care of all 6 of your wireless. So you just have to take the batteries out of 3 and 4 and plug into 3 and 4 with your TrueSpeed, and you should be good to go. But you will get a conflict on 3 and 4 if your wireless are on. So just a warning. Let's see, what else do we have? Any other questions? Let's see here. Curvy. B2, your 4 wireless will need to be set in stations 1 to 4. 5 and 6 will be plugged into ports 3 and 4 on the CU. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Curvy. Yeah, they will be programmed 5 and 6, but you'll be plugged into 3 and 4. Yeah, so in Smart Race, you will see them as 5 and 6. Good stuff, Curvy. Thanks. Thanks for jumping in there. Marty is the king of immersive chat. That's funny. Let's see. Steve says, Ross, yes, you need to have those elements of the car flat to have a solid, accurate foundation, but most of the time the motor pods seem to be pretty flat. Yeah, Steve, that's what I was getting at. I think that the motor pods are small enough. Let me see if we've got a chassis line here. I mean, when you look at this chassis, well, let's see if this thing's flat. Not flat. But I imagine if I took the pod off, it would be flat. Yep, not flat. You can see that it moves. It's close. There you go. Now we know. slot go to manage videos and then change it to not made for kids. Yeah, it's just a setting in there. Dogtown. Let's see here. Need to see some videos of you racing at Cincy Slots. As far as flattening goes, I used to steel plate magnets, hot water in my oven. Not tried a thunder slot yet. Simon, the thunder slot is worth the money. They're great cars. I have not tried the steel plate with magnets and hot water in an oven yet. But it sounds like we might not have to if Dusty ordered a flattener. Let's see. Gary says, I have 2 True Speed controllers now. Do you program them the same way you do a Carrera digital controller? Yeah, with hitting the button. Correct. Yep. The lane change button is what programs them. All you have to do is plug them in. You don't have to do anything special. So there you go, Gary. Has anyone pulled apart one of their cars that they tuned when they first started and was like, what did I do here? Steve, I was going to make an entire video about this. Oh, what car? Hang on. I can't, I'm not seeing the car. One of the first cars that I tuned that was not. Oh. The very first non-Carrera car. This car is a mess. It is a GT40. This car, I took it apart after I thought I had it tuned really well. It was making great laps as a digital car. And then I took the chip out, and as an analog car, it was okay. And I opened it up, and I'm like, what in the world am I doing? There's like a pound of lead in this car. And I put so much weight in it. And so then I started backing the weight out of it, and I realized, man, I made that car so much faster. So I think it's really good. So the video that I was working on, or that I was thinking about, it's in my list of like videos to do, was revisiting an old tune and how can you improve it. So yeah, I think all of us have probably done that. And John Albright posts on Home Racing World all the time about pulling a car off the shelf that he tuned a while back and, rediscovering the car and making some more changes and improving it. So yeah, that's great. I'm glad you brought that up. Curvy, do they make True Speed wireless controllers? I've got a Frankenslot wireless controller. Dusty leaves it here, but I don't know. I didn't know that True Speed did wireless controllers. Oh, there they are. They're wired. Okay, never mind. Sorry about that. Gary D, put the car on the track, hit the lane change button twice, pick it up, and do it again, and it should program, but you need to be pretty quick. Yeah, so that's how you add a digital car without having to hit the code button. Yeah, Steve, I've gone back and visited a handful of my originally tuned cars, especially after you start picking up new ideas. And then, I've had a lot of conversations with Greg, Bud Slots, about weight distribution, front to back weight distribution. And so I've gone back and did some weighing of cars and go, gosh, I've got so much weight in the front. What happens to that car I'm sure I put weight in the front because it was jumping out of the slot. I couldn't get the guide deep enough, or I was trying to keep the car in the slot. So the natural inclination is to put weight up there. But what I've discovered is those first couple tunes, I just didn't get the front end tuned properly, and so I was compensating with throwing a bunch of weight up near the guide. And so then when I got the front end fixed, then the weight had to move back to make the car handle better. And so, yeah, it's an interesting game. I do that all the time with wiring. I can never remember what way it's supposed to go when the solder, so I have to open something working. Yeah, that's funny, Daniel. Yeah, a 9-volt battery is kind of handy to have laying around the bench for stuff like that too, especially when the motor's not marked clearly. Let's see, Curvy. Yes, Curvy has a great video about wire extensions. I have if you need extra length, yep. That's one of my most popular videos is the extensions that I put on, and mine were like not near as nice as Curvy's. I did not buy the outlets, which I should have, because sometimes we have problems with those that I installed. But yeah, they're cheap. Just order them off Amazon and Harry, yes, I love my analog controllers for sure. There is the wireless is very convenient, especially when the young kids are on the track and you spend more time marshalling than racing. Let's see here. Trauma RC says, I can run career digital cars. My family has already got 3 tracks in different houses. Just want to show up with a car that's faster than my stock ones. So Trauma, you run Carrera digital. So I wouldn't go too crazy, but if you order the Piranha that's already wired for Carrera, it's plug and play. It already has a pinion gear on it. You just snap it in, plug it in, and go, and you will notice a gigantic performance increase in that Carrera car. And that's probably the easiest hop up for a Carrera car. I guarantee you, if anybody's got a stock motor in it, they won't be able to keep up with you. You just got to be able to keep it on the track. Let's see. Slot Journal. I've got a Team Slot Nissan R390 that I had the front tires rubbing on the body. I still laugh at the fix I came up with years ago. We'll have to pull it apart and do a video at some point. Nice, Slot Journal. That's great. Hey, Jag, welcome. Good to have you. Gary D, that's how we do it at Cincy Slots. Yep. Yeah, the Ramjets, you can get the extra long cord. The 2-car tune, 1 car to throw everything at it, and the other to throw the best of what worked at it. There you go. One of the first earliest comments that I had from a guy on one of my early videos, I think it was the GT40 video where I failed. I said that I failed the tuning because I was really focused on trying to learn something about tuning that car, and the guy was upset with me, and I would love to talk to him in person. But he was so upset with me because I did not buy 4 of those cars. He's like, it's a waste of your time. You should buy 1 to keep in a box on the shelf, buy 1 to tune, the 3rd one to test on. He had this whole big elaborate, but he says, I buy 4 of every car that I get. I'm like, man, I have a budget. I can't do that. Let's see here. Simon says, I have a Fly Marcos with the front stub axles of 20 years ago. Any ideas on improve the slop in those? Front stub axles. So, Simon, it's independent. Yes, I do have a fix. You can use a piece of brass. And what size is this brass? I don't actually have the model number. But this is a piece of brass that a 3/32 inside diameter. and I can take an axle, and it will fit in this and spin actually relatively smooth. And so I cut this, and I can make a straight axle for those. And you have to take a drill bit, and I believe it's a 1/8 drill bit. I have it right here. Yes. And you drill that hub out just by hand, and then you run the brass tube, and then that would create a straight axle. Now, for cars that you can't do that because there's no room because of the guide, potentially, you can create and cut a small piece of this and basically take the slop out. So let me see if I have one. Yes, I do. This pile of crap on my desk. Simon, I don't know if you can see this. If I can get it to focus, it is one of those little stub axles. And you can cut a piece of brass perfectly. But that stub axle will fit in, and that will take the slop out of that. So maybe I need to do a video on that, Simon. So that was a lot of not being able to see that, but yes, there is a great way to fix those. You should not retire it. Nope. Just fix it. Yep, Jag right there. Simon replaced the stub axle with a brass tube and full axle. Simon, have you watched my M1 video? I'll show you what I did. Let me open it up real quick, and then you might be able to see this easier. Yeah, this was really a pretty easy fix. It just took me a few minutes. There we go. Come on, focus. Focus, 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 focus. Can you see it? Come on. Come on, camera. Focus. Man, alive. Well, why will they not focus? You can see how the brass sits between the towers, and it's now a straight axle. Nice and smooth and no slop. Look at that. I mean, it's nice. Does a great job. Okay, my camera is not wanting to cooperate. But fantastic fix. Really does a great job. Let's see here. What else? Daryl, yes. 1/8 inch brass tubing. Cut the same length as the axle post and drill them out with a 1/8 inch drill bit and press the brass inserts into your stub axles. Should fit perfectly. That's what I've done on my Fly 908. This car is okay. Why is my camera struggling with focus tonight? I'm having all kinds of problems. It has stub axles, and so these are still independent, but they are nice and smooth, and all the slop is out of them. I don't know if you can see that, but no slop. Recommended. It's a great fix. Daniel says he only has one Fly car, and it's Jack Colley's Corvette. Grab the screenshot. Thanks, Daryl. Yeah, Simon, if you have any more questions about that, I can actually send you a little video. I'll take one of my cars apart and show you exactly how it works. Maybe send me an email, thet5guy@gmail.com. Is trusted controller better than slotted wireless? Oh, is the True Speed controller, the wireless SCP-3. The slotted controllers are good controllers. The one thing I don't like about them is they don't have a lot of feel in the trigger. But the SPC-3, I believe, does have it's not a magnetic trigger, that it actually has some friction. So I've not played with one, but when I read up on them, I think that it does. So I would say that would be much better feel for me. But there's a lot going on a slotted controller. The thing does a lot, so you really have to dial it in. You really have to play with it. It's not a bad controller. It's a great controller. I know lots of guys at our club love them. So I'm kind of a DeFalco guy. I really like my DD304 or 302, whatever I have, 302. Michael Squire. I can tell you, Michael, that I had to flatten my brass chassis. It was not square either. I had to rebuild it because the front end was out of square, and it was driving me crazy. The new hey Peter, welcome. The new NSR flattener works really nice. That's good to hear. Let's see here. I have the GT40, just ran it today. Front tire rub. I guess I need to do some tuning, and it was fast anyway. Yeah, the GT40, it's a great car. Was that the NSR, Michael, or a slotted GT40? I was expecting that comment, Daryl. Steve Sweeney. Let's get 4 scales and adjust our cross weight too. Steve, that I'm sure that there are lots of people that do that. And I would say that if you're running like an oval, that would make sense to make sure that you got the same, or you could push the weight. Where would you want it? Towards the inside? Maybe. I don't know. Let's see, Daryl shows the new guys where all the tight turns are that way. John, that is so true. It's like, what the heck? What was I thinking when I tuned that car? Bud slot. Is it a scale that's available new? Sounds expensive. What did Bud slot say? I missed that. Bud slot. Oops, I missed the comment. There it is. I have one that weighs all 4 wheels. Greg, you built that one, didn't you? Hey, PNW Dad, welcome. Glad to have you tonight. Thanks for joining. Let's see, Trauma RC. Oh, it's going to go in a thrashed car, not trying to break off more wings. I appreciate the advice. It's made for RC. It works for slot cars too, and it's wireless and connects to your phone. Oh, there you go. Oh, that's right, Greg. I do remember us talking about that. Yeah. You can probably find quite a few things that work in RC that might cross over to slot cars. I could see where that scale, as long as it's can be small enough. Let's see. Michael Squire, I use one scale and a calculator, but it's a pain, not perfectly accurate. 4-wheel scale would be neat. Yeah, Michael, I think so too. I've kind of got a contraption that I've built using my scale and some wood to make it even, that I can set my car in on, and I can weigh the whole car, and then I can weigh half of the car, and I can turn it around and weigh, so I can get an idea of what's front to back. But and then I can turn it on its side and do the same thing side to side, so I can kind of come up with that. Um, but again, I don't know if it wouldn't be as accurate as having four scales for sure, but there are ways around it. Maybe I should make a video about that. Greg gave me the idea. Let's see here. Dogtown. Cincy slots have events in the summer. Plan on riding down this year. Only about 3 hours away. Dogtown, the racing in Cincy, no, there's no racing over the summer. So basically, we go from October to March, and it's all in the winter. So it's 6 straight months, but it's the winter months. So October to March. And then they take the summers off. But there's quite a few tracks that guys. Ross has a track that runs a lot. Bernie has a track that runs a lot in Cincy. And like Bernie runs F1 cars, and some others. Ross runs a lot of Revo slots. He's got a wood track that's really nice. I haven't been there yet, but I'd like to check it out. But he runs foam tires, so that's a big change. We don't. I'm all silicone, so. And then we race at Butch's track, which is just a beautiful wood track in Oxford. So those usually fill up the summer months, and I'm thinking about putting together maybe a 4-race series this summer. I'm trying to work out the details on dates, so probably starting probably June, July, August. That's my hope. So maybe you can come down for one of those. Let's see, Greg. My next project, 3D project, is a scale that is made for slot cars, weight distribution. I'm always looking for ways to blueprint cars from one to another. Yeah, I think that, every car is different, right? But I think there are some basics, obviously, that apply to every single car. And I think weight is probably one of those that if you get it close, you're pretty good. So Greg, I think that that would be a great thing to sell on Velocity slot racing parts. Focus. There you go. Cheap advertisement. So guys, we've gotten into all kinds of stuff, but George, are you still hanging out? You should have the link to my eCam. I thought we'd bring George on from Area 51. He's been in the middle of a great wood project. So George, if you still want to jump on, Daniel says, any good recommendations for testing motor RPM? Cleve Tech made a box, but I don't think he makes it anymore, that I thought was brilliant. It was basically an RPM meter that just super easy to use. I've created my own dyno. I'll be honest with you, it's kind of such a pain that I don't really use it too much anymore. But you can go to Harbor Freight and get a little, or actually on Amazon, and get basically an RPM light, and take a motor, put power to it, and put a gear on it that's got like a little white mark that reflects, and it will be able to read the RPMs at whatever power you set up at. Let's see, George probably sent me a message. Still want to But it would be great to get an update from George. George has been working on his wood track. I'm super fascinated. Hey, Steebles Greebles, if I got that right. Hello from Cleveland. Hey, thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. Welcome to the chat. Let's see. Put the palm immediately behind the small part, and when the autofocus moves to the palm, the small part is in focus. There you go. I usually don't have any problems with it, but I'm not sure. I may have a big smudge on the lens, but so palm focus. There you go. Well done. Usually I don't have to work that hard. I'm trying to come up in the slot car world on YouTube. This is a great community. I got a whole bunch of track layouts and other awesome videos to check out. Not trying to spam low at all. Hey, PNW Dad, welcome. Happy to have you. Yeah, we'll go check out your channel and yeah, welcome to the community. I only race in my basement, so I don't need the highest performer, just a quality car with detailed and accurate body. Yeah, but tuning up a car, even if it's just you and your basement, you want it to run to the best of its ability. So that's what we like to do here. So we have a lot of tuners in the chat. Oh, Michael, you have the same slotted GT40, number 19. I bet yours is in much nicer shape than mine. Much nicer shape than mine. Oh, okay. Send it in Messenger. Got it. On its way, George. On its way. George. Maybe. All right, George. I'm getting there. Sorry, guys. I'm having all kinds of issues tonight. George. Here we go. There you go, George. I got you. Sorry, it took a minute. Let's see here. Bud Slot, has any brushless long can testing been done with, say, the NSR 8689 inline? That's a good question, John. It's possible for me to do some testing. Marty, I do the same thing, but I have a calculation that gives percentages. That's cool. Hey, Travis, thanks for making it, man. Good to have you. We're going to talk to George. George, are you ready?
Well, yes, sir.
Put my headphones on so I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I got you. Yeah, let me bring you in.
Sure.
So, here we go.
Hey.
Hey, what's up?
Not much. Good light, man. Love listening to you.
Yeah, it's been fun. We've kind of been all over the place, but
no, but everybody has questions to ask, and that's what's great about it. You get people to get in the slot cars by, because I see like a couple. Hey, I just got in the slot cars and questions on certain things. So it's all good. That's the way it should be. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I got you your track up, your full screen. Oh, maybe. No, not now. There you
go. Yep, that's little improvements here and there. So I added lighting to the border signs around the curves there, and then I have borders for the infield too. Like around those sides, there'll be crash, the barriers.
Yeah.
So little by little, it's coming together. I have lighting that I'm deciding on what to do. I know Kevin has said you can get the Amazon lights, but they're more of a how would you say, a wider light, like what little lights I have around, for
Yeah.
making light in the room.
Right.
What's it called? The Kelvin on it's too. I don't like it. I like the warm light,
Yeah.
because when I turn off the lights for the warm light and watching and looking at the signs, it really kind of gives the track a better, I think, ambiance, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
I'm probably going to go to like Evans Designs, and they have lights, because I have the Evans Design system in there already. Because when I pulled all the wires out, I mean, I got a ton of Evans Designs lights, the red
Yeah.
ones and all that stuff. So I'm going to go with a warm light for the track for the towers. So, but all in all, it's been really a good experience. Um, I told everybody this is a beta track, so there was a lot of little hiccups here, and even Kevin saw it. And the one thing that I really give Kevin credit for is that he did listen to what I said.
Yeah.
And so his first tracks were 6 millimeter slot depth. And when I put some of the cars that were scratch built that had the commercial guide, they weren't really, you know, it wasn't working that well. And
Right.
I was talking about it here and back and forth. And so I told him, well, if I want to track, I want the deeper 9 millimeter, which this is 9 millimeter material. So it's a whole different, thicker material than what he cut with. And so when he cut this track, there was a little bit more difficulty for him to do it, because he had to change the settings. And I think he he went through a lot of pieces. So you got to give Kevin a lot of um, you know credit for really keeping on it, because there were some pieces that he got. He's like, I don't like this. I'm not going to give you this. This looks like crap. And I would have accepted it, because I'm a beta tester. I don't care. But he
Right.
knows I'll figure it out. That's why he gave me this track at this point, because he knows I could fix those problems.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this is a learning experience, because he wants to give it to the person there's one person already ordered an oval. So the next person that's buying it will not have to do as much stuff as I did. I had to do a lot of crack filling and stuff, and some pieces were kind of high up in one area and low up. So, I mean, I had to do a little work on it, but he knew I could handle that.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I did with this track. So, the new tracks, he's using the same thickness material like he did on the older, on the first ones that he built, which is the top layer. I think it's like 6 millimeter. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thickness MDF, and what he's done was there's two pieces to this track. There's a bottom section that has the dovetails, and then there's the top pieces, which are three separate pieces. So if you see the corner there, to be three separate pieces. And I send you photos of that.
Right.
And that's what you sandwich on there and drive those round dowels to line everything up. So what he did was really smart. He decided, and again, Kevin gets an idea and he goes with it, to laser cut the bottom section 2 millimeters deep, and then use the other top pieces, which are 6 millimeter, and sandwich them. That gives you a total of 8 millimeter slot depth, and that's
Yeah.
perfect,
Yeah.
because I've gotten a few cars and put them on there to see the depth, and I send you photos of it, of the commercial guide, and it's like a half a mil before it bottoms out. It's perfect. So I mean, he's got
Yeah. It
he's
looks
got a
good.
winner, and the way he has everything smoothed out now with the wood, it looks beautiful, and I think whoever gets a track will be pretty happy. You will still have to do a little filling, a little sanding. You sand in between coats. With this track, I put too many coats of paint. I kind of was experimenting. But what you do really is you put it together, fill it in, sand, little areas, make them smooth. You sand it with 120 grit, he told me to do. And then you paint the first coat, and then you sand it again with 2000, and you put another coat, and that should do it. And you have a real nice surface. And then you get, of course, you could get braid or you could get copper, your choice. He does offer the electrical in the driver stations. I went with the Slot Car Corner Electrical, because I prefer the Slot Car Corner Electrical, because it's got templates and it kind of tells you where to put stuff. What Kevin has will work, but you'll have to be, a little bit savvy with electrical and just figure it out. And I'm sure Kevin will help you with that, because he's really, really helpful. He wants the people that buy the track to be happy with what they have. He's really, he's really customer oriented with making sure people are happy. And he does that with all his other stuff. I mean, all the scenery stuff he builds. There is more stuff coming for the tracks that I cannot say that's really super cool. I'm going to leave that to him to announce. He is really gearing up his partner Johan has come up with some ideas. I can't say them. He's told me personally, but I'm not going to say anything because I told him I wouldn't. So he's trust me, it's pretty badass what he's come up with.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And stay tuned, because there's a really good things with this. It takes really the work out of buying tools and stuff. And this layout in particular is like $13.99, and you get the braid $169, and you get if you want to cut if you want, he'll cut the braid the gain depth for you too. So all you have to do is lay the braid. But if you don't want to go braid, you just buy copper tape. If he offers the electrical in the stations, you just need controllers, the tape, either being copper or braid, and then the controllers and the cars, and you putting a table on it and stuff. So I mean, it takes really a lot out of the end user from doing too much work worrying about routing. So I learned a lot about routing doing Hanger One, and made mistakes. So it's a cool thing, and he's coming out with more layouts. I can't tell you about the layouts that he's coming out with. They're pretty cool, and they have a lot of different things on them that he's offering to make it more enticing. But this is a great option for somebody to buy a home built wood track.
Yeah, it looks great, George. You've done a great job with painting it up, and I love that you kept your colors. So it's cool. Yeah, he posted today a track that really is interesting to me. It's one of the American orange tracks.
Post a picture of it so I could see it, because I think I know what you're talking about. That's the one I wasn't going to mention, but if you already posted it, then
yeah, he posted it 7 hours ago, and it's basically I think it's a 4-lane version of the 8-lane American orange. Let me see if I can bring it up here real quick. Web browser. There it is.
Yep. Okay. Yep. See.
and yeah, so he posted that today, and so
you see the differences in overpass. That's what he's getting into.
Yeah, so
people really like sweet. Overpasses.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, thanks for all the comments. Everybody's been looking at the videos and stuff. I hope in some way it doesn't dissuade anybody from getting one. I mean, I did pay for this. It just wasn't given to me. I paid for the materials and the design. That was my kind of break on it, because I also been helping them with media. So one hand washes the other. But
you single-handedly promoted this track.
Yeah. Well, I tried. I believe in the products that everything that's displayed as you see up there. The people, those are the products that I support. Software Corner, Slot Invasion.
Yeah.
District Scenes, Home Racing World. Dave's Chuck and Dave. I didn't have them up there. Sorry, Dave. I thought I had you. So those guys, they're the ones that we really encourage each other so that the business all work together. Slot Invasion with guys. Software Corner with Track.
Oscar's awesome.
Yeah, Oscar's a real good guy. And
he's fantastic.
Guys. And Kevin is, I can't see what can I say about Kevin? Kevin is a big kid enthusiast. And I was doing a live the other night, and he said, in the live as he came on, he was commenting, if you guys want to come over to the shop and play with the slot car track, he's happy to have you come over. He likes that stuff a lot. He's like a big kid, man. He'll start yelling, yeah, I love it when I'm building stuff and somebody's playing with slot cars in my shop. He likes that stuff. He's really excited about it. And he's an enthusiast building for enthusiasts.
Yeah.
That's the key part right there. He's not just a business to build a product and sell it because, demographics say that this is popular. He's doing it because he loves the hobby. And that's what's great about him. And,
I almost feel bad for Kevin, because the business has taken off so much that he probably has to just force himself time to play with slot cars, right? He
does. So he does go to the Slot Car Addicts in North Carolina every Thursday. He's been going with his son Casey, and that's what they do. Thursday nights they go and they play on the Slot Zuka track. It's on the Home Racing World, and then
that's
various guys have their own build tracks that they built themselves. But Kevin, he's really dedicated to the job. He's there sometimes 12, 13 hours a day. He's trying to fulfill orders. It's just him and his son. So, I mean, he's really trying to make something really special. And then with the tracks, he's going to update the website with the tracks too, because he's got a big Carrera layout and he's getting rid of that.
Yeah, he posted it for sale.
Yeah, I posted on my Facebook page as well. But but is there any questions anybody has? I mean, I don't know if I haven't been really looking at the comments too much, or any questions you have.
Um,
You guys shoot
well, I
at
mean, I
me.
think that if somebody is interested, again, like a lot of guys, this might be a project that is intimidating. But I think going back and watching your videos, you really simplify it. You show people how you painted the track, um, how you painted your lanes, laid the braid. It really is. It's one of those things. You just be patient, and I think anybody that wanted to do this could do this. And Kevin has
Yes,
laid it out in a way that, like, he's doing the hard part. The finishing part is actually probably the easy part. Now Kevin might say different. He just turns the machine loose and lets it cut. But um, I think that it's not a project that people should be intimidated by.
I would say no. If you could fill gaps in wood with filler and sand it down, that's all it is. And I think it'll be a lot easier for people that get the newer pieces, because this track right here is, like I said, it's a beta track. So the tracks that are being produced now are way better finished. They have markings very small to tell you what pieces connect to what. But like I said, when Kevin made this track, he told me, I know you can handle these things, so that's why I don't really. I told him, hell no, hell yeah, excuse me, I'll take care of that. That's no big deal. A little filling here and sanding, a little extra work. But what he's trying to accomplish is he learned a lot from building this one, and he's trying to make it a lot easier. So when the person gets it, you just drive the square dowels, fill it in, and then the elevation part. You could, I put elevation on that. And you could pick it up,
Yeah,
and do that. It's and Kevin is also has offered. If you look on the website, it says you need to offer come over to where you live. Obviously, just charge for that and set it up for you.
yeah,
So I mean, he's offering that as well. So, but I mean, the stuff he can do with the laser printer is cool. Because I mean, you see the borders. He printed my
yeah. They
logo.
look fantastic.
That you could do that. Obviously it's extra money, but you can get that done if you want your track logo on there or anything on there, pretty much. And then he gave me some decals, that I could put on the inside of the barriers, for advertisement, like, racetrack seating, stock car corner, home racing world, whatever you want to put.
Right.
You can put stuff on the inside in there. So, but there's another piece that he's making for the center there on the front where the cars are at. I'm not going to say much about it. It's going to be super cool. So I'm keeping my lid on that. But
Yeah.
that's something that's going to be added to the track. And it's just more of an improvement. And also, I've been helping him with, we had one guy come over who's interested in tracks, and he came over to my place, and it hadn't had it all done like this yet. It was just painted wood, and nothing was laid down. And he was looking at it, and I showed him the track I built upstairs, and I told Kevin, if somebody's interested in looking at one of this, you could have it as a showpiece so they could see what it looks like when it's pretty much a running track.
Yeah.
And just to help people, decide if they're interested or not, or what. Sometimes people window shop. That's one of the things where
Right.
if
Yeah.
they're really interested, you'll know. I mean, people get leery of stuff. I can understand that, but honestly, this right here is really a big game changer with having to build it yourself and not do much. If you're building it, you're putting it together. In a sense, you are building it. You're putting pieces together, and it's really cool.
Yeah. Well, the one he posted today really caught my attention because that's the track, the American Orange, the 8-lane. That was the track that we had here in Chillicothe before I was in slot cars, like in the early '90s. And it's a friend of my
That's cool.
it's a friend of my uncle that still owns it, and it's in pieces in his garage here in town. And
Oh wow, really?
I've
You
joked
should tell Kevin that.
yeah, I
You
joked
should
around
tell
and said,
Kevin that. Mention that to him.
yeah, and I said, I said, I really like that layout for for a big commercial track. I said, but it would be nice to have something a little smaller. And then now Kevin's posted that. I'm like, ooh, I think it's a 4-lane that he's got posted. That's a great
Yep.
It's a great interpretation of that track. But that's what I remember being in the hobby shop downtown, which
Yeah.
is just a block from where I live. And
Yeah, and
it,
he was
it's kind
from
of cool.
Michigan. He's Michigan growing up, and he always would tell me all the slot car tracks have been around. A common VIN left here, if you're never worked with MDF, impossible to describe volume of dust MDF creates. With this, you don't really have to worry about that. Then you'd be doing very little dust. Now, if you're routing and you're cutting gains, I could tell you with Hangar 1, hell yeah, there was a lot of dust. And, I mean, that's just a part of what you deal with. But with this, you're not going to really run into that. The only dust you'll get is very minimal because you'd be sanding the surface, with 120 lightly, not heavy. This is just a scuffing that you do.
Right.
And then, filling in those spots and sanding that down a little. I mean, that's the only amount of dust you're going to get. I got a teeny bit on here. It was on my desk. I just cleaned it off with, some cleaner and it was done with.
Yeah. I
didn't have like a pile of dust where I was sweeping it off the floor or vacuuming it like upstairs was really I had a vacuum even attached and still there was a lot of dust was routing and cutting gains. So you won't have that much of that bin. If you get something like this, it's very minimal of the sanding and really, it's more painting and, laying your braid and hooking up your electrical and, off you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Kevin's doing all that in the shop before he gets to you. Yeah.
He's added other features too, like gain guards. So this way the gains, like on this, the pieces, he had put drops in all these sections. And what he had told me was that if people don't want drops in all the sections, he's going to make it run through all the way. It hasn't affected the track really. So there's parts where the braid is just not hanging, but just not contacting with wood in the small areas in between the joints. But it doesn't affect anything. And the cars roll over it. I was been looking at it. But he's making it to where it's all the way through. So if you don't want to have individual sections, the game will run all the way through. So, I mean, it's...
Yeah, so if you didn't want to take it apart without messing it up.
Yeah. The whole idea with taking it apart was that if you wanted to add a link to it, that's what's the whole premise of that. And he states that in the it's called Raceway 51, which is after this track. He shows extra so much for extensions. So
and it's easy to add in additional straights to lengthen out the track.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that was a smart thing to do.
And it's like I said, it's he's got a lot of good ideas, and they're always changing. So I mean, he's doing something, and then he feels that he has to change it there. And then Johan's a big help. Johan's really good with the CAD stuff, and they make a good team. And Johan was the one that designed this, and it's just really a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun with the track.
So Dave Patterson asked Marty, where did Kevin post the 4-lane track? Dave, he posted it on Facebook on Racetrack Scenic Slot Car Facebook page. So if you are a Facebook user, you can see it there. Let's see what else. Any other questions? I don't see any questions. So I have a question for you, George.
Sure.
So I notice you don't have your timer up yet.
No.
So I'm curious to know what kind of lap times you're getting. Have you put the phone up and have you done any?
I haven't done that. I haven't done that. Shame on me, and I should have used that because I have the app on my phone.
Right.
I should be doing that, but I've been trying to lay more rubber on the track, and then I'm working on lighting, and then I'm working around the house too because I got to.
I'm just curious. Stuff. Like, so the lane length, are you about 60 feet?
On the website, it says what the lane length is. Let me look it up real quick. I can't remember.
Oh, does it?
8 feet. Yeah. Type in. So we'll go Racetrack Scenics and then type in Raceway 51 under search. And it tells you the lane lengths. That's what this one is.
Okay.
And the lane lengths are. So on there it says table size 11 by 6'9". Red lane, which would be the outside lane, is 45, 67 inches.
Okay.
And then the inside one is 42, 60 inches. So you're like talking about like what? Now about 90 feet almost.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
So
cool.
And then the extension pieces. But
Vince,
but there is more things coming from him. So it's gonna be really cool. I can't say much. I wish I could, but I told him I wouldn't say anything. So.
Yeah. Vince says, I meant to say how much this eliminates the dust storm. Having built 4 tracks already, I'd look like
you already know a lot.
I'd look like a chia pet at times. Yeah.
Yep. It gets you know what? You could look like a chia pet in here in North Carolina because there's a lot of pollen here. And as soon as you walk out, there's a video of some guy. He says, "Oh, I'm gonna go get the mail, honey." He goes outside. He looks clean. Comes back in, and he's covered with all this powder, yellowish green powder, which is pollen. And there's a crap load in here in the South. So it's pretty good. I would agree with that. It'd be like that with MDF all over you.
I laugh. Vin, he and I have had some conversations about he has built some tracks, and he redid one, and he said they filled in and changed the layout by filling in all the slots with Bondo and then rerouting. And that had to
Bondo is the perfect thing to use because it gets hard and it's strong. I had to do that a little bit on one part here that was cut. It was a very tiny area, and I bondoed it, sanded it a little. It was fine.
Yeah.
You see, Kevin, I can handle it. That's why there's a beta test track.
Right.
But I didn't really, state mistakes like that because this was a learning experience. I wanted to make sure everybody understands that the other tracks that he's building are a lot better than what I have here because I had to work this one a little. And he's trying to eliminate that so that when the person gets it, they're happy with just putting it together and doing the very minimal thing and then getting the track running in a few hours. That's the whole excitement of it. And it's only a 14-day waiting lead time for this. You don't have to wait 2 years. Nothing against the other people that are out there. They make great tracks, but they're more expensive. And, you tell them, well, when can I get a track? Well, we got a 2-year waiting list.
Yeah,
they're good. But, I mean, do you want to wait 2 years? This is a great alternative.
It is a great alternative.
Do it,
and it's always good to have choice. Right. I mean, yes. It's healthy for the hobby to have options, and this track looks great. You've done a great job, and I mean, I'm excited I really enjoy watching. Somebody asked about me running cars on my track tonight during the stream, and we never made it. It's okay. So I apologize for the person that asked for that, and I didn't accommodate you, but it's always good to watch. Cars get around a new track like this and you get an idea of like how challenging. You've got a little technical section there in the inside that like it would separate the men from the boys a little bit. That little
the little S right there.
Yeah.
The one that's a real tricky one is when you come around that first round bend because it cuts a little bit right here.
Yeah.
You have to be careful not to over accelerate because it will kick out. And
otherwise, like that cotter pin shape. Yeah,
exactly. Like a question mark.
Yep.
That hairpin is cool. It serves its purpose real well. I mean, if any of you guys have any questions about this, you can email me, and if I don't know the answer, I can get it from Kevin because, like I said, Kevin is willing to talk to people. Now you got to remember if you're going to design your own. So this is where the cost comes in, and you're paying just like Marty, when you pay people for design, costs money.
Boy,
so
if
you
too.
In a design, it's $500. You have to pay Johan to design it.
Yeah,
and that's a fair price because designers that design things want a lot of money, and that's a good base price to start with if you have your own layout, and then from there is where you progress to the material costs and stuff. But that's why he wants to offer a lot of options of layouts so people don't have to do that. So this is already a standard size right there, this one in particular, and then you can add extensions and whatnot. This is $13.99. Now, I paid the design fee because when I gave him Area 51, the original one, I was thinking he was going to do something like that. And then Johan came back and said, why don't I add this and that? Johan's a real super smart, sharp, super smart guy. Can't say that all at once. He really understands. And when he made this and he designed this, I looked at it and go, yeah, this has got great flow and actually way better than the old one. I was like, yeah, I agree with that. That's great. I'll take that. I'll take that design. So Kevin liked it so much, that's why he built one for the shop. And then we just made it a standard, track. But he's got others that he's coming out with besides ovals. And I think that one that he posted, maybe one that he'll be making as a
that's cool. Yeah, well, it's you're going to have a lot of fun for years to come on that track.
Yeah, well, think of some proxies sometimes. We'll do something. It's 2 lanes. It's manageable with 2 people. It's like hangar 1 is 4, so you have to, do each lane. This is just a 2-lane thing, but nothing against that. The track upstairs. I'm really blessed with the people that I know and then who I'm with that lets me have two tracks. So
Sure. Yeah.
I could say I'm the only guy that has a wife that said that, yeah, get this house and you can have two tracks. You can have this one, that one. So, I mean, can't beat that. So,
No, you
but,
can't.
well, good question. Are you around LA, Jag? He's asking Dogtown. Sorry.
Oh yeah. I thought Dogtown said he was from Cleveland area, or
Yeah,
just
because I'm
like
thinking
3 hours
dog,
away.
like the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking
Yeah.
because I'm a Steelers fan, so you probably hate me.
That's
We hate the Browns, right?
no,
So,
the Browns they hate the Ravens.
oh God, well, you know why? Because it's
It's the
it's
old
the
Browns.
Browns redressed with a new skirt and what it is. I hate the Ravens too. I can't stand that team. But yeah, that's what it is because they left Cleveland and
That's
went to
right.
Baltimore. So yeah,
Oh,
that's what
that's funny.
our Modell had other motives in it.
Yeah, he sure does. That's for sure. Oh, this has been fun, man. Thanks for jumping on. I'm sorry it took so long to get to you. We had a
No,
ton
no, no.
of
You were answering
questions in
everybody's
the
questions,
yeah.
and that's the thing that you do. That's why your live stream is popular. I did talk to some of the guys that were on mine yesterday. I think yesterday, the day before, and I mentioned I could do a Monday thing if you guys are interested, but we want to wait and see if people are interested because I don't want to do it if nobody's really that interested in me coming on and just messing with cars and maybe talk about tuning or something like that. But
Yeah. I mean, I think people are always up for the live stream, especially when it's interactive. You know, I enjoy just the conversation on Tuesdays. That's why I do
yeah,
this, and just the friendships that I've gotten out of it and the relationships, but just the things that get answered. Like I've
yeah.
learned so much about tuning just in the live chat, and I'm the one talking, and I'm learning by reading all the comments. So like that's what's fun.
It's just a huge information area of
Yeah.
everybody sharing what they do. Like I've always say, like there's no one right way to do it. There's your way,
Right.
and if your way works, then go with it. But then you find other people, well, if you try this and then you try that, and you find out it works or it doesn't, and you adopt that. And that's what's great about everybody interacting with that. It's not just one thing and that's the way it's done. I mean, it'd be a
Yeah.
very boring hobby. Like I used to say in the GTO club, if everybody did the same thing with our cars, it'd be a boring club, or it'd be the car industry would be boring because everybody's doing the same thing. That's why everybody does different things to their cars.
Right.
It makes it always changing and different. So, but,
Yeah. Good stuff, man. Well, George, thanks for jumping on.
no problem.
It's almost 10 o'clock. It's time to wrap things up. So,
Yep,
we'll
that's getting late.
uh,
Late for sure.
yeah,
But thanks for
but
having me.
yeah, man. Anytime. I always love having you on. It's been great. So, but we'll sign off from Area 51 tonight. I won't even go back to my shot. I'll just leave it on your tracks because it looks so good. So, guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. I appreciate you, George. Thanks. And then maybe next week we'll break down the second place brushless car from the Michigan 24 with Greg and Josh. So that'll be fun to talk that. So, guys, thanks. We'll see you next week, and go have fun racing.